So for hip external rotation, we're going to set up in this 90-90 position, but we're going to modify the back leg. So the back heel is going to come closer to the bottom because the emphasis is on this front leg. Okay, so making sure the hip, the knee and the ankle is as close to 90 as possible. From there, we're going to hinge forward. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. They'll round in the shoulders in order to get as close to the floor as possible. But I'd much rather you get maybe a quarter of the way down or even half of the way down, but hinging and keeping those shoulders back and the chest proud to really open up space in the hip and get a nice stretch, okay? You can use pillows or yoga blocks by your side. I like to have my right hand, so if you've got your left leg in front, my right hand cups the foot, my left hand goes parallel with the knee. So it looks like that from front on. From there, you're going to hinge and fold forwards, and you might only get this far down and feel the stretch, or you might go this far down and start to feel the stretch. But the most important thing is to keep the shoulders back, keep the chest proud, and you're going to fold down. You have the ability here to now scan the stretch. So for instance, for me, I feel the stretch mostly if I come slightly inward of the knee. But for you, you might feel the stretch more if you go outward of the knee or bang in the center. So over these next 2 minutes, when we're going to hold the stretch, you have the freedom to find that stretch. So because I'm keeping my shoulders back and my chest proud, I've got that stretch there right away. Okay, so I'm just going to keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. I like to almost meditate when I'm doing these types of stretches and movements. So it's just a nice time just to really sink into the stretch and use the breath. When you use the breath, you're calming down the nervous system, so you're allowing your body to feel safe and then to sink deeper into the stretch, okay? So just keeping those shoulders back. As you breathe out, just see if you can test the waters a little bit and see if you can go a little bit deeper, but just go nice and steady with your breathing. We've got about 1 minute to go now, so just nice and steady. You can elevate the front knee if you like, so you can, if it makes it a bit more comfortable, you can elevate that front knee as well with a pillow or a block. You might find the stretch is more intense that way. So for me, I can definitely feel that stretch a lot more now, but equally I can still feel the stretch there. So your call as to whether you elevate or you don't, but we're just keeping those shoulders back and we're breathing. So we've got another 45 seconds. Whilst you're catching your breath and you're just relaxing into the stretch, the first contraction that we're going to do is we're going to think about driving the foot down into the floor. So we're going to think about essentially going like that into the floor. So we're crushing the floor with the lower leg. And then afterwards, you're going to think about trying to pick the foot up off the floor. But because you're going to be at end range, it's not going to lift. And the goal is not to lift that foot on the second contraction. Okay, so first one, we're driving knee and ankle down into the floor, but use more of the ankle to push down. And then the second one, you're thinking about trying to lift that ankle up off the floor, but crucially engaging the hip, because the hip needs to do all the work here. Okay, we're going in 3, pushing down with the foot. 3, 2, 1, push. So get to that, find that stretch and push down and breathe. We're going to go for 10 seconds. So a roughly 30 to 40% contraction. Squeeze your hands into the floor, squeeze your abs and squeeze down with the hip. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to try and pick the foot up off the floor. So knee stays down, try and lift the foot. It's not going to lift, but just do your best. Breathe. 10, 9, 8, 7, keep lifting. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. And slowly ease up. See if you can get into a deeper stretch. So block or no block, just hinge, find that stretch. Nice, we've just got another 20 seconds. Just relax. Ten more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Okay, we're going to go straight into those lift-offs now, just to strengthen the hip. So we're going to come onto our forearm by our side. So forearm roughly in line with the thigh. Glue the knee down towards the floor, and then we're going to try and pick the foot up off the floor. So again, externally rotating through the hip. There's not going to be a massive lift, as you can see here. If you really struggle, just come all the way off to the side and then start to lift. The further you push your body this way, the easier it will be to lift. So you still want it to be challenging, but we want to go nice and controlled for 10. 2, 3, 4. I haven't been this now. 6. Really make the hip work. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent work. Good. Now we've got the other side to do. So let's swap over. So we're going to be facing this way now. The back leg's going to be tucked in, so we're modified. You can use a pillow to elevate that knee if you want to. It comes down to personal preference. And then we're going to hinge forward and feel that stretch. So if you struggle to get a straight 90 with that leg, you don't have to have it at a solid 90. You can adjust the heel towards your back thigh, okay? So decide whether you want to use the block or not. You're going to start to hinge, cup the hand, and then we're just going to fold down. So you're going to find that stretch. I'm going to set my stopwatch. We've got 2 minutes to hold the stretch. If 2 minutes is too intense for you, so for instance, say you've never done this type of training before, then 1 minute's fine. Yeah, we just use 2 minutes as a guide because the research has shown that that's a great amount of time to start the lengthening phase in the hip muscles, which is going to then help you open up more space before you strengthen. But if 2 minutes is too intense, please just skip to after we've done the 2 minutes and then go straight into the contraction. So I'm choosing on this side not to use the block. You can use the block or a pillow if you like to elevate the hip. But it's up to you. Like I've just added the block now. Sometimes I feel the stretch a bit more, but just go nice and steady. Just remember to keep the shoulders back and the chest proud. We should be feeling that stretch on the outside of the hip. Remember, don't be fooled in thinking that you've got to come all the way down. You can still feel the stretch by being upright here, and just a slight hinge forwards is going to start opening up that stretch in the hip. If you're getting cramp in this back hip, just bring the leg forwards and that should ease it up. Remember, you can use the other hand as well and come off to the side. I'm going to take the block away, prefer without the block. Good, so we've got another 20 seconds and then we're going to start to drive that foot down into the mat. So try and crush the floor with your foot. We're going in 10 seconds. Remember, like a volume dial, so we're going to gradually increase the contraction. No more than 30%, so let's go. Push, 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 push. Really feel that in the hip. On the outside of the hip, we've got 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now try pick that foot up off the floor. Big squeeze. Keep lifting, keep your body still. That's really important. Keep your body still, so don't start moving around. Keep the focus on the hip. Squeeze the floor, squeeze your abs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just hold that stretch. So if this is your first time doing this type of training, don't worry if like you can't really feel the stretch that well. It's going to take a bit of time and practice because a lot of this type of training is to do with like body awareness. And when I first started doing this type of work, it took me a good couple of weeks just to get into the groove of it. So don't worry if it feels a little bit awkward. Just make sure that you're listening to your body, holding the stretches for maybe 1 minute to begin with. And then over time, you can start pushing it to that 2 minute mark. So now we've held the stretch for another 30 seconds. We're going to go straight into those lift offs to strengthen the hip. So you're going to kick out to the side onto your forearm. And then from there, we're going to lift, squeezing in the hip and back down. So remember, there's not going to be a massive lift, but it's really important here that we engage the hip. So we're making the hip work. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Ooh, my hips are definitely feeling that one. Great work, team, and I'll see you in the next one.